All right, so here we go. A day later than normal. Got the Shun knife. We're ready to go. It's week 4 of the world's greatest sandwich challenge. That's kind of the move for the world's greatest sandwich challenge. Today, I'm blowing the top completely off the world. The top's just gonna blow, which might conjure up some bad images for people who grew up like in the 70s and the 80s. It's not that kind of blowing the world up, it's a different kind. But today I'm gonna do something this has never been done before in the history of mankind. This is the first time for everything because none of this has ever been done. That's why I'm doing it. So last week I had the Asian chicken sandwich with homemade teriyaki, phenomenal. The week before that had the one that had the barbecue bacon wrapped shrimp. And I think it had queso and some stuff. That's a good sandwich. The first week was the Whacker Packer that had the Korean bulldog beef, and that was a fantastic sandwich. But honestly, today might take the cake. This might just be it. Every week might be it. I don't know. I've never made these before. This is literally the first time I'm making any of these. So it's all, till then, it's up here. Now I'm starting to do this. But I have a feeling that today is gonna blow the top off the entire world. So what I've got to start with, I've got 2 skillets, one kind of smaller one, and then one a little bit bigger. In the smaller one, I've got 3 tablespoons of butter. In the bigger one, I've got a little bit of olive or vegetable oil. It's about maybe half a cup, not a lot of oil. I'm not trying to deep fry, but anyway, I do want some oil in there, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute. You are not going to believe this. I've got a few mushrooms here. They were kind of left over. I wish I had a few more, but that's what I had. So just rough slice those, and they are going into the small skillet with the butter. And I'm not adding anything else in there because I've got an idea. And at this stage, that's all I've got. In this little bowl here, I've got some peppers that I finally kind of chopped up. There was a hot pepper and there's a bullnose pepper. There's Honey Baby. There's a bullnose pepper, which is just a sweet pepper. You could use red, orange, green, whatever you wanted for peppers. And all I did was roughly chop these up like so into some strings, and then kind of roughly chop that from there. Put this in the pan here. I went ahead and did some of that because I despise videos where they sit there and they just chop every single thing and it takes 30 minutes and you're like, dude, do some of that ahead of time. So I did it. So then I've got an onion here. I'm just going to take a small piece of this onion, scrape that out of the way. And then I've got some potatoes here. Now I microwave these. You could boil these, but basically I did those and then I took the peels off. So they're soft with the peels off. Just roughly chopping this onion here. Then I'm gonna add some to the floor for color and additional flavor. So anyway, I put the onions in there and then I pick up the pieces on the floor and on my foot. So right now I've got the sweet pepper, a little bit of a hot pepper that I had. I just threw it in there. You wouldn't have to do that. And some onion. I'm going to take these potatoes. I'm going to set this up here where you can see it. And I'm going to run them across this grater. Because I got me an idea, see. You can see those wheels turning. Now, I did some of this ahead of time. For some reason, I didn't think to grate at least one of these potatoes. So instead of just getting to watch me do one potato and we move on, you get to see me do all 3 of them. Now, when you microwave a potato, this outside gets kind of hard. So I'm just throwing that away. But it is such an easy way to get these potatoes basically pre-cooked and make it where it's super easy to grate this. So my mushrooms are going. This is just 4 small potatoes, a little bit of salt. I've got some garlic here. Got my Shun knife here that's also the Shun spoon. I'm gonna add about what would be the equivalent of about 4 decent cloves of garlic because I want this to be as flavorful as possible. I talked about last week how flavor is the easiest thing to get, and that's one of the ways of doing it. 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. I've got a spoon here. I don't know what it was in, but I'm going to use it. I've got some Dijon mustard, a 1/2 teaspoon, 3/4. When you're using Dijon, watch out because it can kind of take over a little bit. Then I've got some of Sarah's homegrown eggs here. And what I'm kind of shooting for here is a little bit of like a potato pancake. Potato pancake. Something like that. So, I'm going to stir these up with this massive fork. We got all the garlic, the peppers. Now I need this to be fairly wet consistency. So if you've ever made egg foo young, it's going to be similar to that. Now that's not quite wet enough. I want this to where it'll kind of flatten out. I could put another egg in there. Honestly, I'm just going to put a little water. It's not going to matter. It's going to kind of get soaked up in there anyway. So, got the potatoes and all that done up. That's a little bit better. Got some paprika, 1/2 teaspoon. Got some smoked paprika. Getting low on that. Another 1/2 teaspoon. And somewhere I've got some pepper. That's Italian seasoning. All right, so I've got some pepper. So, I stir all this together. And these are going to be the texture of my sandwich. I talked last week about flavor is easier to get, texture not so much. So what I've got here is, and I'm going to bring the camera over here so we can see this. You can kind of see my onions or my mushrooms going over there. But I want you to be able to see this. I'm going to bring this down like so. Got some potatoes. I'm going to put a scoop of these down in this hot oil and I'm going to kind of flatten those out. Basically, like I said, going to be similar to like a potato pancake. Now again, we've talked about all the weeks we've done this, that it has to be on a common man's bread and it has to have fresh tomatoes. So we'll do that in just a minute. You can see my mushrooms have cooked down here. You see they're kind of getting that good golden brown to them. I want to add a little bit of garlic powder to these. Again, we're just going for a little bit of flavor here. A little bit of onion powder. I've already got some hot peppers in there, so I don't need much more than that. I'm gonna get my little shun knife here, and I'm gonna get out some of this Dijon mustard. That's maybe a 1/2 teaspoon. Now you'll notice, for those of you out there who are really paying attention, so far there's no meat. Could this be meatless? It could possibly be, because so many summer veggies are on now. We want this to get really good and cooked up, but there's so many good summer veggies on right now. We might as well use them in our beautiful sandwich. So you notice I added a little bit of Dijon mustard to these mushrooms. I added a little bit of heavy cream. That's 1/2 and 1/2. Heavy cream would probably be a little bit better, but that's what we got. I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of salt. I don't oversalt things, you all know that. You've been to the classes, you've seen the videos. I don't oversalt things too much. But, got me a nice little sauce going on here. And really, I could make, sure, I lost my train of thought here. That's what happens when you're cooking and things are coming together. I could I could make a sauce. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I can't say that. I could make a sauce, but what I'm hoping is that I'm going to be able to get this to be the salt that I want. Salt, sauce. God, tell it's a Wednesday. The sauce I'm hoping for this sandwich is going to come from these mushrooms. So I've got the cream in there. I really need to crisp these potato cakes up because this is our real texture right here. So turn this up maybe just slightly. Make sure those aren't stuck in anything. Those are going to be fantastic. So I got a couple of pieces of bread here. I'm going to toast those up. My mushrooms are kind of coming back. I'm going to show you in just a second what I'm going to do with this potato. I have some shredded cheddar cheese here. I'm going to put that on the other side of these potato pancakes when I'm ready. And we're going to make this sandwich. It's cooking, you know. Sometimes that happens. That first one fell complete. The second one fell completely apart. I'm gonna have one of these that's salvageable. Now, if I wasn't filming this video, I'd be taking more time with this, making sure these worked a little better. But anyway, I've got a couple that are gonna work. Here you go. Here's my salt and my mushrooms. Let me taste that. Oh, whew, that is good. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna turn those. I want that to reduce just a hair more. I'm going to leave those on there for just a minute. So what I'm going to do is, while this is finishing cooking down here, I'm going to take some cheddar cheese. Got some shredded cheddar here. I'm just going to put it on the top. And I'm not trying to add it to my oil because I've got some more than I need to cook after this video. So I'm just going to put a little on the tops here. Kind of let that melt down. My bread needs a little bit more. You know you can't have the world's greatest sandwich on light bread without toasting it. So that's that. This is thickening up real nicely. And again, I'll make one of these gluten-free for Sarah. So anybody who's out there thinking, I'm gluten-free, guess what? Every one of these sandwiches can be gluten-free. So let me put this back over here real quick. And we are going to bring this together, and I'm going to show you how easy this was and is to make this incredible sandwich. So I've got, somewhere I got my knife covered in whatever it's covered in. My mushrooms are done. My potatoes are just about done. They're not going to take long. The egg's the only thing in that needs to be cooked. So I got a ton of tomatoes here. I'll take one of these little yellow ones. And then I'll cut this core out. There's my toast up. Let me grab that. Oh yeah, now it's toasted. So I've got also here some beautiful Gouda. You hear people say that on those cooking shows all the time. I got some beautiful cheese. And I'm always thinking that's as opposed to ugly cheese. Well, anyway, I got some beautiful because that's what they say. So that's what I'll say too. I got some beautiful Gouda here. I'm going to slice this tomato nice and thin because on these sandwiches, I don't like that big, super thick piece. I like it to be nice and thin. Got me a little red tomato here to add a little bit of color to this. This is coming together, and this could be the world's most phenomenal sandwich. So you can see, if you can still see it from over there, my mushrooms and my onions are coming together. What did I come over here for? Don't forget. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here. Oh, I know I was going to get something to drain this patty off here in just a second. So I need me some paper towels so I can drain these off. They are just about done. Again, that's my crunch. So you kind of flatten your cheese down there a little bit. The crunch is what I'm looking for out of these. It's going to be the texture to our sandwich. We're going to have plenty of flavor. This is going to be our texture. So let me pull a couple of these bad boys off here. I'll just leave those other ones cooking. This is getting ready to come together. Never before done. World's Greatest Sandwich Part 4. Okay, that's hot. I just took it out. I'm gonna set that on there, like so. That is just about one. That right there would be a good sandwich. That's a potato pancake with Gouda and cheddar onions, and that would be fantastic, but whatever. We gotta take this up a notch. This is the world's greatest sandwich. So I got my mushrooms here and the beautiful cream sauce. I'm gonna layer some of those on there. Kind of flatten those out a little bit there, and that's my sauce, so I don't have to add mayo or come up with a different sauce. That's it right there, because it's the Dijon and the cream and all that. Then I've got the yellow tomatoes. I'll lay a couple of those on there. And then I've got the red. Look at that sandwich, would you? Potato pancake, sauteed mushrooms with a cream sauce, Dijon cream sauce, fresh tomatoes, 2 kinds of cheese. Look at that. Wow. I'm gonna cut. I got a good feeling about this one, folks. I'm gonna cut this bad boy in half just so we can see it in profile. All right, here we go. Oh my. Are you kidding me? Now that's gonna be super hot, but you know what? You gotta take one for the team. This is where it all comes together. Not a big bite. That might have done it. That might be the best one. I've got an idea for next week. Next week may be the last week, because I've created some pretty dang good ones. That might be the best one that I've done so far. That potato could probably be a little thinner and get a little crispier. But I am telling you what, that's incredible. So there you go, week 4, no meat, all vegetables. It is freaking delicious. Okay, we'll see if we can top it next week. Hope you enjoy it.